Hello, viewers. This little discussion is going to be on the unconscious or subconscious, or just one way of really exploring an area of, of what might be the unconscious or subconscious. Um, this is more directed towards those of us who are magical practitioners, and that's something I'm going to focus on in this. But for anyone, there's something to gain from this, I believe. So for starters, for us who follow the magical path of Western magic and Wicca, witchcraft, all that kind of stuff, we hear that make the unconscious conscious. As Carl Jung would say, or Carl Jung, making the invisible visible. The Golden Dawn tradition of initiation talks about bringing light of the spiritual sun to the gates of the land of night, the unconscious or subconscious. And those are all really great kind of metaphorical ways of saying it, but there's no real way to get a handle on it. And for me, I think this experience might be a little transpersonal for other people as well, that when I'm trying to do some shadow work and I might come up with a word like mom or girlfriend, boyfriend, sister, work, job, some kind of word, and it's like there's something there, and it's like, well, that really bothers me, so that's my shadow. Something's wrong there, something I'm pushing down, or however you want to say it. And you try and come up against that word, like, okay, here's mom, so this bothers me, and here's my shadow, here's my unconscious, but where's the gate, where's the door? This bothers me, and it's sort of because well, that birthday party really sucked, but what's bothering me? So to really get a handle on these kind of subconscious things, really we're going to be looking at this talk, at least, just at semantics, and particularly Osgoods Semantic Differential. So I have a picture of it here, but I'm not quite going to get into it yet. I'm going to field you down a little bit more with what this actually entails, and this is my recent project of my own self-knowledge, know thyself, and actually work on changing myself. So I took the word magic, and in Osgoods Differential, I probably can't see it too great in this light, but you're going to have a word, right? So it can be any word, and you're going to have a scale, and you're going to list qualities that you associate with that word. For example, with magic, one side could be rounded, angular, strong, weak. So you put on the grid, is the word magic more strong, or is it more weak? Is it smooth? Well, I think it's kind of smooth. Or is it rough? Is it passive? Is it active? Large, small, hot, cold. Bad, is magic bad? Is magic good? Relaxed, tense, dry, wet, stale, fresh, and that's for the original Osgoods Semantic Differential, which is my suggestion, to go ahead and Google that up if you want to go through with this whole exercise. I put especially clean and dirty. I just added that because that's something that kind of defines my world, and I want to get a handle on that because that's part of my particular shadow self. So how does semantics, how is that exploring the shadow self? How is that exploring the unconscious? First, to break it down, we have invisible beliefs. We have invisible beliefs, and we have attitudes, and we have invisible attitudes. An attitude towards something is like, just, is this a bad thing, or is this a good thing? When you break it down into semantics, it can be, is it dry or wet? Is it hot or cold? So you would break down any word like that semantically. And the idea about attitudes are similar to beliefs. They kind of play into, like if beliefs are right here, attitudes are a little underneath. So what is an attitude? An attitude would be, in typical kind of social psychology studies, it would be that they'll flash someone a picture of a young person or an old person, and the person seeing the picture is timed, and they have to click good or bad for each picture. Now, consciously, the person might say, well, I have nothing against old people, they're fine, but they take longer to click on the good button for an old person. So our unconsciouses, our subconsciouses, have their own invisible attitudes and beliefs. And making that visible, we can use Osgoods Semantic Differential for different words. I wish you could see it better. Here, that's good, I think. It might be reversed. Well, anyway, you can take any word, and like if you're working on your own self-knowledge and you're running into a problem with husband, okay, that word is giving me a problem. You can break it down and just take the word and, okay, husband, angular. You look at the first part, husband. Suppose you're going to list it very angular. Okay, so now you're getting a handle on this thing. So husband, you're going to break it down. Okay, strong. No, weak. Husband's weak. Husband's angular. Husband's weak. Okay, and you didn't really, just the word husband might have given you a flustered, kind of bad feeling. And then you can actually look at this and see more like what it looks like. And that's something that is going on all the time with all sorts of different words, concepts, ideas, you know, and just having a formula like that to look at each kind of word, especially the ones that are hot button words, the ones that might get you a little flustered or upset. So, going into it a little more, with these kind of words, we're looking at denotative, the meaning that's in the dictionary. The word husband, or let's use the word which has a denotative meaning in the dictionary. That means that's the general meaning for it. That's your conscious. Your conscious is the denotative meaning for each word, each concept. So if you're doing shadow work, you're going to want to look at the connotative meaning. Now this is what we're not aware of. This is the moon. This is the unconscious. Your connotative meaning is what it means to you. And like the idea of self-knowledge, know thyself, make the unconscious conscious, bring the darkness to the light. We might not know that the word which for us looks, well, for me it would look angular. I think of witches as, you know, having sharp distinctions, sharp features, coming to the point, being centers, having sharp edges, strong. Now, if you're working in magic or the craft or any kind of magical system or philosophy, you take the word which, you might think like consciously in your denotative meaning, well, which means a powerful person, but look more at your heart. Now, Does that word witch, does it seem actually powerful? Does it seem strong? Or does it seem weak? And then you can go further into it. Is it smooth or rough? So for the word magic, I put smooth. I want it to be kind of smooth, but anybody might have a different definition for their connotative personal definition in the subconscious areas, where they might say, well, I never really thought of it, but magic, it's kind of rough. It's like chaotic. It's the chaos of the universe. So you might want to make it chaotic or rough. Is it passive or active? You know, when we're talking about the law of attraction, that kind of idea, and it's not what you're consciously thinking of. And you can take a word like money and put it in here. And I'm just making this video as a jumping board. I'm not gonna even try to lay everything all out for each viewer, but this should be my suggestion for an area of study for actually getting a handle on making the unconscious, subconscious, conscious. So if we're looking at the law of attraction, where, you know, it's not really what we're consciously thinking about that is attracting good or bad into our lives. It's what we're unconsciously, our invisible beliefs, and to go a step further in the psychological model, our invisible attitudes. So consciously, you might have the conscious belief of yourself, you know, I'm a good person, I'm great. And subconsciously, if you list your name on Osgoods Semantic Differential, so I would list Mo McCarty. Mo Kimberly went to list McCarty. Alright, let's go ahead and look down that. Rounded or angular. Angular. Strong or weak. Geez, you know, I would like to think of myself as strong, but I'm gonna actually have to put myself more like 1 or 2 spaces away from the weak part. Smooth or rough. Rough. I got a lot of rough edges. I'm gonna put myself over there. You can really get down to, you know, this space, bad or good. Now, you might know in your conscious mind, I'm good, I deserve the good things in life, I'm a good person, but really go with your heart. Where do you feel you should list yourself as bad or good? And the same thing with a word like money. You might list the word like money. Okay, money. Relaxed or tense? Let's go with that parameter. Tense. It's so stressful. Money is so stressful, so hard to come by. Have to work so damn hard to get a single dollar. Alright, so your law of attraction is going to be more on the tense. Even though consciously you might intellectually, academically decide that, you know, yeah, it's easy to manifest money. Point blank range with your subconscious, geez, you know, it's really tense and stressful. So we're actually breaking down with the semantics and the definitions, you know, what exactly is going on in this unconscious, subconscious. So if you were to take Osgoods Semantic Differential, and put key words that are important to you, you know, draw it out or make copies of it, print them out. I'm sure you can find printout available kind of pictures of it, and actually take some keywords, one for each printout, you know, print out a whole bunch of them or draw them out yourself, which might be better, and put a keyword at the top and go right through it, and don't overthink it. Don't use your you know, front part of your brain. Actually go real more into where your heart is telling you, where your unconscious and subconscious, and really look at it. Now what I did here excuse me, is for the word magic. It's a problematic word for me, and I couldn't really get a handle on it. It's trauma and letting people into my world who really abused me and stuff. confused my mind up and everything, so I really need to get a handle on it, but it's like a snake. You know, I know it's going to bite me, I know I should grab it and pick it up, but I can't find where the head is. So I used the semantic differential and went down the line. Now these coins, these pennies that I used, weren't on these places where they are now. So, for example, I went down the line as, kind of a crafty project, magic, rounded or angular. And I think I had put very angular. And I went down the line and list where I'm at now. Magic, hot or cold. I think I had the penny over here at hot or cold. I use this as a way to interface with my unconscious and subconscious. So the way you, the viewer, might decide to do this is to go ahead and make one of these for a word that is an issue for you or something that you want to do shadow work on. Put the pennies first off, like print it all out, everything. Now I added clean and dirty to my list of semantic differentials. So I have 11 right here for the word magic. I have 11 pulls of categories. You can add more, or you can take away things that don't mean anything to you. Maybe passive and active doesn't mean much to you. You can take that away. Or maybe light and dark really are significant for you. You can add that. I wouldn't say go up to like 30 different differentials, but I went with 11. I just added one that was important to me. So you want to go down the line and honestly, not lying to yourself, not trying to overthink it. Just put the pennies on the grid. Is it more or less bad or good for each word? And then, you're going to want to get that honest slate of where you are. Now, there are a couple of ways you can do this. This could be a dark moon project, a waning moon project, where you actually figure out where you are, and then each day slide the pennies more towards where you want them to be if they're not where you want them to be. So day one, you might have listed the word witch as weak. So day one, you're going to slide it less weak, less weak, less weak, stronger, stronger, strongest, and then glue the penny right there, or whatever you want to use for a marker. Be creative. And what you're going to be doing is interfacing with your unconscious, your night side. You're actually going to be gaining self-knowledge by first doing the differential on whatever keyword, power word, problem word that you want to use, or different words. And then you're going to be telling your subconscious, I want it more like this. We're going in this direction. We're going to slide this penny this way. You can do it all at once. That's what I did. I did it in one sitting. I put the pennies where they were, the photograph of where I am now. And I said, okay, subconscious, let's change this. I want them over here. I want magic to be this much towards the clean. I want magic to be this much over to the strong. Slide them over, and then I just glued them in place. And I actually, hung it up. So this is a letter that you're sending to your subconscious. We need to redo this word. I see this word, I got your letter, I got your email, and we're gonna clear this up. I want you to send the email back. This is actually what I want this word to mean. So that's your connotative definition that you're actually becoming aware of, which we're all aware of, but I think, like me personally, not completely aware of what exactly my definitions are. You could go a step further if you want. Write a connotative dictionary, so you would have the words that are important to you. keywords, words associated with trauma or abuse, words that get you upset. You could take liberal, conservative, write your own connotative dictionary. Get a clean notebook and, write what a title, connotative dictionary of me, and put definitions of each word. When you start to examine them, look a little closely, peel back the layers, and you're like, okay, this is what it means to me, or this is what I want it to mean to me. You can use the differential and get more of an insight. And this is really, it seems like such a, what is semantic differential? It does give so much insight into these words. And, if you have a word that is associated with a trauma and it becomes a trigger for you, and disclaimer, I am not giving out therapeutic psychological advice, but from one psych patient to the whole world out there, you can take a word that's associated with trauma, break it down, and kind of disentangle it, remove all the pieces of why this traumatized you, because it's like that snake, you can't pick it up, you're in the dark. So you get a handle on that snake, you can pick it up, and you can be like, oh, okay, now I've got it by the head, now I can deal with this, I can put it in a box, I can throw it out the window, whatever. Once you get that snake by the neck, and it's not going to bite you. So I think I'm gonna end this video right here because it's getting into 20 minutes. Yeah, okay. Definitely Google up Osgoods Semantic Differential, and take away what you can from this video and build on it, and use the project suggestion, and make the invisible visible. Dark blessings.